well-established, esteemed scientists.
Well, it's not even a debate in scientific
It's not a debate. It's not up for debate.
There's no debate. It's
a fact.
It's a fact. It's just a fact. And I like to use this as an example. What if you went to the doctor for your checkup, okay? And the doctor said to you, he said, well, I noticed that you eat a certain kind of food every day, and we think that could give you cancer over time. We're pretty sure, but there might be someone out there that doesn't believe that's a physician, but 99.999% of us believe that this is going to give you cancer if you keep eating it. Would you say, well, it's a theory. Everybody doesn't agree with it, so I'm going to go on and eat that food. And that's what we're doing. And of course, the real reason for the denial of global warming is the United States is the biggest polluting nation on the earth, and the pollution primarily comes from our obsession with consumerism and from our big corporations who don't want to spend the money to produce clean products. And that's the reality, and nobody wants to talk about it.
They're making science a political issue, and the only ones that are against global warming are the oil companies. ExxonMobil is spending a lot of money just to pump out propaganda to try to shed doubt on global warming. I mean, let's get real. They said this year could be a really bad hurricane year too. It's pretty warm.
Well, the year 2006, the data came in yesterday. It's the hottest year ever recorded in human history globally.
Wow.
2006. And before that, the hottest year ever recorded was, guess what? 2005. And before that, you know what the hottest year ever was?
They're all peaks.
2004. Gee, do you see a little trend here?
2003, 35,000 people died in Europe from the heat wave.
Right.
Which people in the United States, that was just, they don't even know about it. It was like a little blurb. 35,000 people is a lot of people.
The global warming thing is so serious, and in my opinion, we may have the ability to turn it around, but we apparently don't have the political will to do it. That'll be something that once we reach certain tipping points, we can't go back. We can't go back and fix it.
I think we're already at peak oil and a lot of different tipping points already. I mean, really. Well, we invite you all to give us a buzz and hear what you want to say about global warming or the Bush speech or whatever. We got the phone number up on the screen here, and give us a buzz. Oh, it looks like the line is lighting up here. Let's see. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hi there, you're on the air.
Yeah, you pick a topic. One of your three topics you just named, you pick one of them. Whichever one you like.
Oh, you called up to speak with us. Go ahead.
I have opinions on all of them. I don't have time to share all of them. So you pick one.
Well, keep it brief, because there's lots of callers.
Okay.
Don't play games. What do you want to talk about?
Play any games. How about George Bush, then?
Okay, go ahead. Did you watch the speech?
No, but were you just comparing George Bush to Hitler?
No, we didn't say that at all.
No, nobody said that on the show.
So quit making things up.
Something said like that on your screen, the text.
Oh, I don't know what's up on the text as far as that goes. Joaquin is running the board right now. I have no idea what's on the screen.
Well, then, Joaquin better get his shit together.
Well, I think you do, because I agree with him. I agree with him. Hitler probably killed less people than Bush. Do you think all the Iraqis, they said, 600,000 Iraqis?
Well, if you consider the damage we're doing to the environment and the number of deaths that come off of that, it's certainly he's up there with the great war criminals.
Also, when the soldiers do come back, if they come back, they're going to have exposure to depleted uranium, which causes cancer, post-traumatic stress disorder. They're lucky if they have legs. I mean, Lord knows how they're going to come back.
And then they don't have VA benefits to take care of them very well. So Of course, the important thing to remember is that none of the people who really wanted this war, including the president and all the people in his cabinet, none of them have any children that are at risk. You know, they want everybody else's kids to put their lives on the lines, but not theirs, because, as Dick Cheney said so eloquently when asked why he didn't go to Vietnam, he said, well, he had more important things to do.
Oh, yes, he's just so busy. Yeah. Quail hunting. And
Right. Right.
Let's take a call. Hello there, you're on the air.
Hi, down there. I called originally to talk about the greenhouse effect.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was going to change the subject because I down there didn't appreciate what you down there said about Bush and comparing him to Hitler.
I don't know what's up on the screen, but you know what? I think there's some similarities to the regime. The way the regime rose. Hitler was democratically elected.
Correct, but them there had nothing to do with that because he was them there targeting a specific religious group. Bush them there never did that.
What about the Muslims?
Good point.
He's not targeting Muslims. He would do anything to anyone.
I think there's a lot of people that are having their wires tapped. Think about all of us. We're all suspected terrorists.
No one in there's
our phones. Now they can go through our mail, and they can do this. They're not supposed to do it without a court order, but they're doing it anyway.
Well, I them there just think you're a prostitute.
Boy, a lot of right-wingers. They
Well.
can't handle the truth.
Just don't watch the 24 hours.
Yeah, you don't like the TV?
24 hours.
Don't watch it? Don't call.
700 Club.
700. Joaquin says to watch the 700 Club. Yeah. Switch on over. Get saved. Hello there, you're on the air.
Hello, Chrissy. Hello, Bob.
Chyrisse.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
I just want to say that as far as about the Iraqi war, I didn't see the Bush speech because I really can't believe everything he says at this point.
Well, I never have.
I understand your feelings entirely.
And also, as far, there's probably a similarity between Vietnam and the Iraqi war. Once we pulled out, the South Vietnamese weren't willing to fight for democracy. And what if once, let's say, we train the Iraqi police and soldiers and all that?
Been doing it for 4 years, supposedly.
Yes. And, I mean, will they be willing to fight for democracy like, you know what I'm saying, like we're doing now? We're dying.
They don't want a democracy.
It's really up to them. They should have whatever it is they want. And our fear of a civil war, this country had to go through a civil war to figure out what its direction was. And I hate the idea that maybe people are going to be harmed. I don't know what's really going to happen there, but ultimately it's up to the Iraqi people to decide what they want to do with their country. We can't make that decision for them.
Vietnam didn't fall apart, did it?
No, actually,
Did they have genocide there? I mean,
they didn't, and we actually have a pretty good relationship with Vietnam now. So anyhow, did you go ahead? I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. I just wanted to bring up that point there, but like you said, I heard there. Well, as far as now, we're trillions of dollars in debt to Japan and China.
Right.
Our Social Security after a certain date, people born after a certain date, there's a Social Security now deficit. So you might say Social Security is almost bankrupt now.
Well, I wouldn't put it that far.
But it could get there, and someday in the future.
Well, they're borrowing from it.
There's probably a deficit.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I would like to see them, if they're going to train them quickly, and basically
had 4 years to do that, like I said.
Yeah.
What were they doing all this time?
and basically, if the Iraqis really want democracy, let the Iraqis fight and die for their democracy if they want it.
It's
You're
the only
right.
thing. It's the only way it'll have meaning
You're
to
right.
them. Nobody can give you something. I mean,
That's right.
remember when you were a young kid and maybe your parents. I didn't have this happen, but if it was one thing to work for a car, and it was another thing to have one given
handed
to you.
I know it means more when you work for it. That's true.
Yeah, just like in your personal life, nobody can decide for you what you should do and then push you real hard and hope it'll magically happen.
There's socialist countries, there's communist countries, there's monarchies. They may not want a democracy.
They may not. Their whole culture for thousands of years hasn't had democracies.
That's right.
They've had a different way of doing their governments, and I don't know whether it's right or wrong for them. And it really isn't my concern.
Exactly.
Right.
Come home.
Okay.
Well, thank you for calling.
Thank you, and I always enjoy your show. Have a
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's take another call. Hello there, you're on the air.
Oh, hi. This is a great show. I don't like George Bush, but I don't think he has a choice. That is, I think he has to do, and he has to go wherever the people who control him tell him to go. For example, they're presently telling him to, perhaps they're telling him to go into Iran, and he has no choice. If he doesn't do that, if he pulled back the troops, if all the troops came home and said, here we are, then there would be another 9/11 orchestrated by the Israeli Mossad, and they would make it look as if the Muslims did it. So we have no choice. We have to do, in Jimmy Carter's book, Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid, he says, and they called him anti-Semitic because he broke the news. The Europeans know it. He says that the Israeli government has a stranglehold on America's finances, on its Washington politics, on its military, and that indicates to me that George Bush has to do wherever the Israelis kick him.
Well, we pretty much have given what I call unconditional love.
Well,
It's not good for diplomacy.
Israel gets more than half of all of our
Can you turn
dollars
your
that we
TV
send
down?
out to foreign aid.
There's like a ringing noise.
Yeah, it's a worrisome business. I was a political activist for a long time. I started out as a right-wing extremist, and now I'm becoming. Now at the age of 60, I'm tending more toward left-wing extremism. Not because it's more accurate, but because just as a change of pace.
Well, more
you
power
like
to you.
Swing back and forth. Then okay.
Yes, sir. I learn a lot from the left wing, and I think extremism is real good because what the extremists do is they simply carry things to their logical conclusions. And all of these weird scenarios are determined by the extremists. And whatever extremist minority wins.
I hate to say, most intellectuals are on the left, not on the right, too. If you look at intellectuals in history.
I think that's true. I think that's very true.
So once you get enlightened or you get educated, read a lot, whatever, you're going to see that liberalism is the way.
Yeah, in this present circumstance, I equate, perhaps not George Bush, but the next president, Hillary or whoever it is. I equate that president with Tsar Nicholas of Russia during the Revolution, because I think what George Bush has initiated, I think it's the beginning of the end.
Well, it may be. There are many people that hold similar views.
Yeah, well. I'm a Swedenborgian, I'm a Christian Buddhist, and so I believe that when all the smoke is cleared for all the pleasant people like yourselves, it's got a happy ending. So I'm a big.
It's looking pretty bleak right now.
I'm gonna bid you a good night, and
Good evening too.
that's all right.
Thank you, sir. Keep watching. Wow. Yeah, when you think about the right-wingers, they're the ones usually that listen to Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck, and I don't even think Rush Limbaugh even finished high school.
I'm trying to think of...
These aren't intellectuals that are out there spewing their hate on the radio.
Rather than just trying to bash right-wingers, which I certainly enjoy doing...
But, go for it. We're allowed to here.
But well, I realized that. But I was really trying to think of right-wing philosophers or right-wingers that have won the Nobel Prize or the Nobel Peace Prize or the Nobel Prize